So it looks like Beyonce is getting cancelled again. Saying some dumb shit. If you guys haven't heard already, Beyonce said Indigenous people are enemies of peace.
We're not the ones that slaved y'all out for 400 years. We were the ones standing next to you while they were slaving y'all out.
Barely even human. Barely even.
Oh my god, y'all really need to go back to high school and take another class in history, because this is kind of scary. That was the terminology used in 1866. 1866, a year after Juneteenth, 1865. In 1866, not 1966, 1866. Of course, the U.S. government, wanted to call Native Americans enemies of peace. The shirt was giving what exactly the historical context was.
The history with the Buffalo Soldiers is a complicated history. And most importantly, as stated, it is Black history. And history on American soil isn't going to be beautiful and it isn't going to be easy. So instead of saying you don't like Beyonce, y'all have decided to mishandle, mislead, and rewrite Black history for the sake of personal grievances.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome, and hit that like and subscribe button for daily tea. So Beyonce is getting absolutely dragged by her own fans right now, and I'm talking about the Beehive turning on Queen Bee herself. We're talking about a t-shirt that has people calling for her to be canceled, Indigenous activists speaking out, and fans saying this might be her most tone-deaf moment yet. Before we dive into the drama, let me set the scene for you. Beyoncé just wrapped up her Cowboy Carter tour dates in Paris, and as we all know, this whole era has been about celebrating Black cowboy culture and reclaiming that narrative in American history. The tour has been incredible, the outfits have been serving, and honestly, most people have been loving this Western aesthetic she's been pushing. But during her Paris shows, specifically on June 22nd, she wore this Buffalo Soldiers t-shirt that has now become the center of a massive controversy. And when I tell you the internet is not having it, I mean fans are writing entire essays about why this crossed a line. Now, if you don't know what the Buffalo Soldiers were, let me give you a quick history lesson, because this context is crucial to understanding why people are so upset. The Buffalo Soldiers were African-American military regiments that were formed after the Civil War, around 1866. These were the 9th and 10th Cavalry, along with the 24th and 25th Infantry Regiments. The nickname Buffalo Soldiers actually came from Native American tribes who fought against them, and it was meant to show respect for their fighting abilities. Now here's where it gets complicated, and this is the part that's causing all the drama. While these African-American soldiers were serving their country and trying to prove themselves in a post-Civil War America, they were also being used as instruments of American expansion westward. And that expansion meant fighting against Native American tribes, forcing them off their land, and basically being part of what many people considered genocidal policies against Indigenous peoples. So you have this really complex legacy where these soldiers were both victims of American racism and participants in American colonialism against Native Americans. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's exactly the kind of nuanced history that requires careful handling. So now let's talk about this shirt. The front of the shirt had an image of the Buffalo Soldiers on horseback, which honestly, by itself, probably wouldn't have caused this much drama. But it's what was written on the back of the shirt that has everyone losing their minds. The back had this long historical text about the Buffalo Soldiers, and buried in the 5th paragraph was this quote that I'm going to read to you exactly as it appeared. Their antagonists were the enemies of peace, order, and settlement, warring Indians, bandits, cattle thieves, murderous gunmen, bootleggers, trespassers, and Mexican revolutionaries. And here's the thing that's making people even more upset. This isn't just some random vintage shirt she picked up at a thrift store. This was official Cowboy Carter tour merchandise that was designed, approved, and sold by her team. The images of this shirt were literally posted on Beyoncé's official website, so this went through multiple levels of approval. The reactions have been intense. And what's really striking is that a lot of the criticism is coming from Beyoncé's most dedicated fans. We're talking about people who usually defend her no matter what, and even they're saying this crossed a line. One Indigenous fan wrote, "As an Indigenous person, it's disheartening to see Beyoncé wearing a Buffalo Soldier shirt. These soldiers played a direct role in the forced removal, violence, and suppression of Native peoples. I respect her impact, but this choice hurts a lot. Even on the Beehive subreddit, where criticism of Beyoncé is usually downvoted into oblivion, people are struggling to defend this. One fan wrote, "I love her, but I really wish that there was much more thought put into this before giving it the green light." Another said, "That shirt, ma'am, someone in your team should have done a triple check. That's tone deaf as hell." But here's what's really interesting about the reactions. A lot of fans aren't necessarily mad about celebrating the Buffalo Soldiers themselves. The issue is the specific language on the shirt that frames Indigenous people as enemies of peace. One person put it perfectly: "It's not okay to insult Indigenous people in order to celebrate the Buffalo Soldiers' accomplishments. They could have found something different." Some fans are also pointing out that this fits into a pattern they've noticed with the whole Cowboy Carter era. They're saying Beyoncé has been leaning into American patriotism and flag imagery in ways that feel uncritical, and they expected her to be more subversive with these themes rather than just celebrating them straight up. This controversy is really highlighting some deeper issues about how we talk about history, especially when it involves multiple marginalized groups. Because here's the thing, the Buffalo Soldier story is an important part of Black American history that often gets overlooked. These men served their country with honor despite facing racism and discrimination. But their story is also inseparable from the harm done to Native American communities. And that's what makes this so complicated. How do you honor one group's service while acknowledging that same service caused harm to another marginalized group? Some people in the comments are arguing that Beyoncé was just trying to highlight overlooked Black history and that her intentions were good. Others are saying that intent doesn't matter when the impact is harmful, especially to Indigenous communities who are still fighting for recognition and justice. There's also this larger conversation happening about celebrity responsibility and historical education. Multiple fans have pointed out that with Beyoncé's platform and resources, there's an expectation that she and her team would do thorough research before putting out merchandise with historical content. This isn't the first time Beyoncé has faced criticism for choices that seemed at odds with her progressive image. Earlier this year, she was criticized for performing in Dubai for reportedly $20 million, which rubbed people the wrong way given that her Renaissance album celebrated queer culture, while Dubai has restrictive laws against LGBTQ+ rights. And honestly, this kind of controversy is becoming more common in the celebrity world. We're seeing fans hold their favorite celebrities to higher standards, especially when those celebrities have built their brand on social consciousness and activism. What's really interesting is how social media has changed the game. Before, a celebrity might wear something controversial and only people at the show would see it. Now, everything gets photographed, shared, and analyzed by thousands of people within hours. As of right now, Beyoncé hasn't responded to any of this criticism, and honestly, that's pretty typical for her. She's known for not directly engaging with controversies on social media. But some fans are saying that her silence on this particular issue is part of the problem. One fan wrote, "We have no idea what her intentions are with this shirt, or even this whole album and tour. Beyoncé hasn't come out unequivocally against, for anything. Her silence protects her, but also invalidates her." The question is whether she'll address this at all, maybe remove the merchandise from her store, or just let it blow over. Given that the tour is ongoing, it'll be interesting to see if she continues wearing similar merchandise or if her team makes any changes.
Look, I think this situation really shows how complex these conversations about history and representation can be. On one hand, celebrating Black military history is important. On the other hand, the specific way it was done here with language that many Indigenous people found offensive clearly missed the mark. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this was just an oversight by her team? Or do you think there's a deeper issue with how the Cowboy Carter era has handled American history? And do you think Beyoncé should respond to this criticism directly? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video if it helped you understand what's going on with this controversy. Subscribe for more celebrity tea, and I'll see you in the next one.